two high-voltage races on the circuit in Chicago, this new 4-stop indoor tour that includes stops in New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. Ian Torshan's going to be our pace setter, Carrie, and this is not unusual to have a pace setter in an elite race, but the time that they're requesting here for the first mile is 4:16. And let's just put it out there. The 2-mile record is 8:34.91 from Drew Griffith. So the pace squarely set on breaking that record.
It's going to be hot. And Ian Torchia, who trains with some of the greatest athletes that we have here in the U.S. and Michigan at the Very Nice Track Club, he's the man that's going to take them through. And he's very excited. He knows his job is serious. These athletes have come to run.
This is Trey Caldwell out of De La Salle in California, future member of the Colorado Buffaloes. This race drawing kids from all parts of the country, which is not surprising. Asher Oates out of Tennessee next to be introduced. And how about the kid out of Oregon, U.S. number 1 at 3,000, U.S. number 2 at the mile so far this year, senior from Crater High School, Tayvon Kitchen.
Well, you know, he has to have confidence with those 2 accolades that you just mentioned.
And then Juan Gonzalez wearing hip number 8. On his way to the University of Oregon by way of Nebraska. He was the runner-up finisher in a race we just called, about 6 weeks ago, Kerry Tollefson, in San Diego, the Foot Locker Cross-Country Championships. But this field is now assembled for the race today. Looks like we've lost maybe a couple of our original group of runners. We're not typically uncommon to see at the high school level, a few scratches even in some of the community races as well. But, you know, this figures to be, you know, kind of Tayvon Kitchen and Juan Gonzalez, but I think there's a few other folks that could answer the bell here and make this one interesting over the 2-mile distance. Again, pace setter going to go out in 4:16 with a national high school record of 8:34.91. set just a year ago. And we're underway here at the circuit in Chicago for the high voltage boys 2-mile. And what do you expect here early, Carrie?
Well, I expect to see Tayvon Kitchen up there. And we are going to see him up there, I think, because he's sharp. He knows that he's raced already. He can handle that hot pace off the gun. But what I really like is that Juan Gonzalez said he did take a little bit of a break. He had a big big cross-country season, and he needed that little bit of a break. But Tayvon looks really good right now. He's hanging on to Ian Torchia. Ian is a world-class Nordic skier who retired and is now in the sport of running. So kind of a cool story with him. But the real story is about these high school athletes that are getting after it right now.
Yeah, Torchia in front as our pace setter, being asked to go out in the first mile in 4:16. Kitchen went out in the first lap in 34:33, and Gonzalez taking a more patient approach, 35:86, leading that group that includes Caldwell just behind him in what is effectively third here with the pace setter out in front. Second lap through quick, 32 seconds.
Well, Kitchen does have a little redemption maybe from that cross-country season. Might not have been quite what he wanted. Still ran well, finishing 11th at NXN. But, you know, when you don't have quite the season you want, you really carry a chip on your shoulder, and he's running that way right now. 4:04 for the mile. Then he doubles back, and he ran 8:02 just a couple weeks ago. So really looking good, very strong, lots of endurance behind him, but also a lot of speed.
And Carrie, third lap, even faster, 31:97 here as we just see this thing start to open up just a little bit, and Gonzalez just kind of hoping that over the last half of this race, that space between Kitchen, maybe when the pace setter steps off, will force Kitchen to maybe burn out his jets a little bit before the end here. We're coming up here on 12 laps to go. Again, 31.97 on the previous lap. They've slowed down a little bit, 33.05.
Well, Kitchen is obviously going after something fast today, but that is something that he's used to running the mile. He's run very well indoors, so having that little bit of extra zip. But Juan Gonzalez is leading that pack behind. He's got his eyes up on him. He needs to start closing in right now. This is that moment. These next 2 laps are huge for that pack to try to reel him in.
Torsia doing a great job in front, 32.55. They go about a half second quicker there on that next lap.
Torsia just had a mile where if you look at his stats, he ran 4:24, and I thought, how is he going to do this pacing? Well, he fell in that race, so he has the wheels in him. He's got a lot of strength behind him to help lead, but right now, Kitchen looks great. He's got his eyes on Torchia's back. He's right on the railing. He's not running any further than he needs to. He's almost chomping at the bit, seeming like he wants to go.
See Gonzalez starting to go as he separates himself a little bit from Trey Caldwell and Grady Lenn. Tristan Yoder and Asher Oates also in that group. Jack Anstrom and Aiden Montesseri, who were scheduled to race in this 2-mile, did not start the race. So everyone's still in who started, including the pace setter, Torsia. And right on his back shoulder is Tayvon Kitchen, senior out of Crater, Oregon. Already leads the U.S. in the 3,000 meters, number 2 in the mile. That 3,000 at Dempsey a couple of weeks ago, among the best performances ever by a high schooler. 32.33 on that last lap.
Well, Kitchen, you can see, he kind of dips his chin just a little bit. He is working as hard as he possibly can. He knows what's on the line, but he said he's excited to run. He's running almost like a pro this weekend. He's here, and then he's going to be in Boston on Sunday. So lots of racing, but that's what gets you in these races and excited to chase the time. And you can see that he's chasing that time. He's looking at the clock when he goes by it. Eyes are on his pacer. Really no concern about what's happening behind. Maybe mentally he has that concern, but right now you can't see him looking and checking out what's going on behind him.
Maybe a click or two slower than that prescribed 4:16, maybe closer to 4:17, 4:18 at the halfway mark. But now here's the important part of the race. Just how long can Torsia stay in that leadership position and try to drive this one as far as possible? Because when Kitchen gets the lead, he is going to have no one pushing him from behind right now, as we do not see anyone nearby. Juan Gonzalez is the next nearest competitor, but he's a good 8 seconds back on the lead. This is all Kitchen now.
A reminder that record is from last year where Drew Griffith ran 8:34.91.
Trying to get the crowd in it here at Gately Park in Chicago as they are trying to will Tayvon Kitchen to a little bit of history here in the opening high-voltage race at the circuit in Chicago. The Oregon Prep star in total isolation now as the leader here. 5:24.78 was his split with 6 laps to go. He'll come here now with a little bit more than a K to go. 31.66 on that last lap. Let's see what he does without a pace setter on this last lap. 32.31, so he's staying with it, but it's got to keep this momentum going.
He really does. He has to keep pressing and thinking about what game can he play. Is it to really work hard on the straightaways, coast on the turns, use that little bit of a curve or a little incline that the curve has? What is he doing to stay in it mentally when he has no one around him?
And there is effectively the race for second. Juan Gonzalez and Tristan Yoder, with Trey Caldwell falling off the back just a little bit. 32.70 on that last lap, so a click slower as we now move into the last 800 meters of this race.
Well, Kitchen said that he's going into his senior year this year just with so much excitement. I mean, he's halfway through it already now, but he's just been excited to do well. He didn't maybe have that season in cross that he wanted. He did great in his state, but those at NXN, he had big expectations, and he finished 11th, so you know that that's driving him here.
33.23 as he falls off that pace, going over 33 seconds for the first time in a while. Gonzalez leading Yoder to the line. Now with 3 laps to go.
Well, Gonzalez having a phenomenal year, finishing runner-up at Foot Locker, but also Yoder had a great year too. He was 17th at Foot Locker. Really excited about his track season. But look at, you can just see the turnover now. He's really trying to work hard and chasing that clock.
33-34 on that last lap for Kitchen. Top 10 all-time performance in this high school 2 mile, about 8:46. Noah Affolder out of Carlisle, Pennsylvania, did back in 2017. And now here is Kitchen. One lap to go, 32.75 on that last lap, Carrie.
He's moving, and you can see the pacer cheering him on. He's taking it on just like it's his own race. He was so excited, Ian Torchia. But look at this, 100 meters to go, and he's driving everything, his knees, his arms, his elbows. He's going for it, Paul.
Well, he gets the assist from Ian Torchia, who ran a phenomenal pace setting for the first half of this race, and now we see Kitchen to the line in a shade over 8:41.21, and that will be number 5 all-time U.S. high school for Tayvon Kitchen. Here comes Juan Gonzalez finishing up his race as well, as he's going to go under 9 minutes in the 2 mile, but Kitchen's final lap, 32:13. So it's Griffith, 8:34.91. Edward Cheserek, 8:39.15. Jerry Lindgren had that record for so long, setting it back in Spokane back in 1964 at 8:40 flat, and then 8:40.70. Lucas Verbeekus back in 2011, and now Tayvon Kitchen, 8:41.